What's up, y'all? Welcome to Brothers. No, wait, that's two brothers and a shot of milk. We're missing one Lawrence St. Victor, but we do got Christopher St. Victor, Richard Wilson, and I'll be the resident shot of milk today. Today we are talking about The Boys, episode 4, and we're going to deep dive into the 1987 hit SpaceBalls. Why? Good question. We'll get to all that. But first, gentlemen, how has your week been? What have you been up to? What have you been reading? What have you been watching? What toys have you been playing with?
So I read DK3 Master Race, which was
Sounds racist, but okay.
Right.
which was pretty good. I know Lawrence had problems with it, but I liked it a lot. I've been back on my Batman kick reading, so I like that. I had family over this week, so we did a lot of like family friendly projects, games, and activities.
What is DKE Master Race?
That's the Dark Knight, the new Dark Knight that came out like 2 years ago.
Gotcha.
So it was pretty good. And then that's it for me.
Nice.
All right.
Simple. Rich.
Yeah. I didn't do anything. No, did I do anything? No, I didn't do anything. I worked. I worked so much that I didn't realize what day it was, and it was Thursday, and I thought it was a Tuesday. I was pretty messed up. That's about it. Oh no, I finished Starfield.
Oh,
Because I told you I went back to it. I was told mods were put back in it and whatnot. So when I went back, it was a download that I had to do, and so I got back into it. All of the stuff that was bothering me before was gone, so I was great. I finished. I got to the end. Now I'm on my second playthrough, and I also have the modded one. I had a second character that I was going to use to finish the game with, but now that one is my mod character, and I'm using all the mods to make whatever I want. Especially
Nice.
ships, because you can make these big mega cruisers. I'm about to start doing that. I'm learning how to clip things together to make special weapon ports that pop out. Like weapons will fall in and hide away when you land, and when you get up into the air and get up into space, they pop out and they're ready to start doing stuff. Um, Other than that, I started playing Diablo 4 again. It's got the new season, and then we have another season coming up in October, I believe. And that's it. That was my week.
Nice. Well, let's go to the chat real quick, and then I'll tell you how my week's been going. We got Ghostymon in the house. What's up, Ghosty?
Going on.
Of course, we've got ETC in the house.
what
The
up?
boys
Yeah.
are in the house. I'm assuming that's us boys.
That is.
Of course, we will be talking about the boys. S love Spaceballs. Good, because we're going to talk about that. Desiree also in the house. What's up,
up?
Desiree?
What's going
And
on?
he says Spaceballs 2, but why? Ryan Reynolds? Well, yes, Spaceball 2, and we'll get to that. Oh, and we've got C23. They're here too.
All right.
All right. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining us. How was my week? So glad you asked. Let's see. I worked a lot this week, but I'm working on a couple really cool projects right now.
Yeah. Can you talk about it?
Yeah, I got nothing to show, but I'm doing some promo stuff for the Beetlejuice, which is coming.
Nice.
Yeah, the set for that is really
huge
cool.
Beetlejuice fan.
Yo, who's not? And he's coming back. Hey, ETC wants to know where Connie Alaska is. I want to know that too.
That's a good
Connie, show
question.
yourself.
She'll be here. She's always here.
Show yourself. I'm working on the BET Awards, which is fun and pseudo annoying at the same time, but
Make sure
they're
you
cool.
strap your vest.
There's a lot to that. Connie Alaska in the house. Matu. Me too. Gotcha. Connie Alaska, what's up? She's in the house. I watched House of Dragons. Speaking of houses,
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
You know
Watch
what?
that as well.
I liked this episode a lot better. Was
Okay.
it episode?
Well, there's no
one?
more time jumps. I think we're done with the time jumps because now we have
Yeah,
to deal with this. We have to deal with the war coming in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other thing was, I watched the recap and I was sitting there watching the recap of season one, and I was like, I don't remember any of this.
That's what my wife said
Yeah.
too. And I feel like we go too long. We have too much content. We go too long between seasons sometimes.
Well, you got to
And
keep in mind there was strikes, there was this, there was that strike, there was all kinds of things that really prolonged us getting the season two of House of Dragons. But yeah, I watched the recap and I was sitting there going, I guess I kind of remember some of this
oh
stuff.
yeah, that's right. That's what happened. That's
Yeah,
what
and
that
then
is.
spoiler: the dragon ate the dragon in the air, and I was like, "Oh yeah!" And then I accidentally, here's how bad it was. I went to go watch season two, and I accidentally watched about 25 minutes of episode one, season one, and
Oh
I'm
shoot.
Oh.
sitting here going, I'm sitting here going, this sound. I was like, I actually thought this. I go, man, I feel like they played this out already. This is very familiar. And it wasn't until Sage walked in and she goes, isn't the king dead? I was like, oh yeah, he had like a green screen thumb on one of the episodes. It's like, this is season one. I had it all twisted up. Anyway, Ghostymon says, Des texted me, get your butt to the live stream. Yes, Des.
Oh, appreciate it, Des.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Getting everyone
Desiree.
in line there.
Desiree saying hi to Connie. Oh, there's so much love in the chat. I love this group.
Man, we have a whole community going on.
I know. Love House of Dragons. I was medium on season one, but I love, man, I love Game of Thrones. I'll say that, and I love Game of Thrones so much. I'm here for House of Dragons. They got me.
Yeah.
I think we need more Alaskans in here. I cannot agree more.
You guys are our most dedicated fan base. I'm down.
ETC hates autocorrect, and he hates it from this. That episode was interesting. Good way to start the second season, slow but steady. Pop Johnson in the house. We got a full
What up?
house
What's
almost.
going on,
Almost.
Pop?
And what
Wow.
is this?
Oh,
Mom's
New
Table
here.
Podcast.
All right.
Hi, I'm new here. Shannon Ann pulled me in. Nice to meet y'all. Shannon Ann, thanks for the ad.
nice to meet you too. Hey, Janet.
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 Janet. Is it Janet or Jeanette?
Janet. Sorry.
Janet Jackson.
I'm
Miss
a terrible
Jackson, if
speller.
you
I
ask
shouldn't
me.
be the one doing the cool readings here. Janet, welcome to the show. There's so many. I'm not going to read all these. Loves House of Dragons and ETC, except for season 8. Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
That's because they were rushing because they thought they were going to do Star Wars and that fell apart. So
Yeah. All right. The last thing I'll talk about this week. I told y'all about my friend and his Hulk comic.
Yes.
wait,
What
what?
happened?
Okay, so Chris, I'll recap you and anyone who missed this one. So a friend hit me up last week and he goes, hey, I've got this comic. It's like Hulk 190 or something. Is it worth anything? And I go, Hulk 190? No, I don't think so. And he goes, it should be, man. It's like Wolverine's first appearance. I go, are you talking about Hulk 180, 181? And he goes, yes, that's it, 181.
Oh, shoot.
And I go, well, it really depends on how the quality of it. All right. The guy brought the comic over 2 days ago. Not only does he have 181, which is the cover one, where he's literally on the cover, he has 180 also.
Oh.
And this dude's story is this. In the 70s, his really good friend gave him a whole stack of Hulk comics. And his friend, for whatever reason, was really into collecting stuff, so he put them all in plastic sleeves, Chris.
My stuff is in plastic sleeves. I just like to take them out and touch them.
Yeah. Well, this guy did. This guy did. And so I'm sitting here in my hands holding Hulk 181, and it's got to be a 7 or an 8. It's like crystal clear. There's no blemishes. There's no creases or wrinkles on the thing. The corners are sharp. I'm looking at it going, I can't believe you have this, you jerk, and you don't even know the value of it, really?
Oh, man.
So I'm trying to help him get that graded, and he's looking at selling it. And I was telling him, it's actually kind of serendipitous that you found it right now, because that particular comic is on an uptick. It's trending
because
because
of Deadpool and Wolverine.
that's right.
Mm.
That's right. And Wolverine is wearing that costume for the first time.
How much is that? How much do you think you could get for that comic?
Well, I think he's got to get it clean, pressed, and graded. And if it grades, I mean, if it grades a 7 or 8, he could be looking at about 10 grand to sell it. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's actually valued probably in that grade is probably valued closer to maybe 7,000, but that's that's not what people are selling that comic in that grade for, or people are able to buy it. You know, so there's what a thing's worth and what you sell it for. And in this particular case, it's one of those unicorn comics that are really nice to have in your collection. So that was probably the highlight of my week was actually meeting that thing and holding it and just kind of really kind of geeking out. And of course my
Slyly
buddy,
putting it into your bag as you walk away.
man,
Hey,
I
look
mean,
over there.
and I'll be honest, there was, the brain goes, this guy's got no idea what it is. He doesn't exactly have the appreciation for it. I could offer him $1,000 and he'd probably just take it to part with it, but then I'd be a jerk, and that's not, that's not
That's
who I
not
am.
you, Jack.
Nah,
That's not the
you're
Jack
right.
we know and love.
So anyway, that was my week. Hey,
All right.
Rich, I got a question for you.
What's that?
Do you know who's responsible for clogging all the toilets in Tatooine?
Who's responsible for such a
That
travesty?
would be Jabba the Butt. Come
I
on!
hate everything about that.
Come on!
Everything
Jabba the
about
Butt?
that.
Yeah, I got it.
I hate
All
everything
right.
about
You know
that.
what? Forget it. Let's save that. Let's save that segment by reading some more chats. Ghostymon says they hadn't gotten to House of the Dragon yet. Okay. Ghostymon, to be honest, you might just wait for the whole season to drop and then binge it. Then you can watch it on your own time and not feel like you're, slow playing the thing. Desiree says, Ghosty, you need to watch the first season, then come over and watch the second season. Oh, you haven't watched the first season yet.
Mm.
Well, you could just skip to the second season, honestly, or watch the last couple of episodes. Probably. That might be blasphemic what I said, but I'll go with it. Absolutely, Ghost. You're my brother. Come on over.
Maybe next week we
Brother
should talk
from
about House
another
of
mother.
Dragon.
Say again?
Maybe next week we should talk about House of Dragon.
Well, it's just what, episode 2 or 3 at that point?
Episode 2.
Well, it'll be
By the
two
time
by
we
the
go
time we go live. Yeah.
Oh,
Three
well, let's
from-
not forget where we're going. We're going down the corner, around the
Ooh.
block, going to find ourselves at the Collector's Corner because we've blown through all the lights. That's right. It's show and tell time. Here at the Collector's Corner, we're taking toys out of our toy chest, video games out of the vaults, comic books out of their cases, and we're showing them to the rest of the world. They can be worth millions of dollars in certain people's cases, or
Fine.
something you've built in Chris's case.
Mine.
3D printed. All right, who's showing what?
I'll go
I'll
first.
go first. No, I'll go
Oh.
first.
Go ahead, Rich. Go
Because
ahead.
mine's just simple. I was filling up the other night, and I was walking through my local 7. It's a 7-Eleven. Technically, it's a 7-Eleven, but it's a Sunoco station. All right, they just rebranded. I had an argument, not even an argument. I had a conversation with the guy working there, and dude was got upset when I called it a Sunoco. He was like, "No, we're 7-Eleven." I'm like, "Okay,
Get
okay,
it right, Rich.
all right, guy." So
Put some respect on it.
they have pops, and I got a couple of these guys. I saw a 80th anniversary of
Nice.
Spider-Man,
That's cool.
so I'm like, you know what? Let me pick 2 up. Why not?
Is that from that's the Avenger look, the last one?
No, it's from the 80th.
Oh,
Oh.
maybe fantasy.
Yeah.
Wow, that looks. I like the color on that thing.
Amazing. He got the webs under his arms and everything.
Very cool.
Yeah, how's that? And this one will probably come out, and I got one in the box, and it will stay in the box until I sell it.
There you go.
2 of
If it
them.
goes up in price. If it goes up in price, yeah. I mean, if you're going to pick up one, I mean, they're like $12, maybe $11. I'll just pick up 2 because one might go up in value, and you can keep the other one for collectors
As
or
well.
sell both.
Nice.
I'm with it.
That's
I like it. All right, Chris, what do you got?
So, you guys know that obviously we do a podcast, but we've always been friends, all friends with 20 plus years at least minimum.
Hey man,
So
Yeah.
yourself. I just turned 30.
yeah, that's true. So sometimes, we don't just talk about podcast stuff in our group chat. Sometimes if we find good deals, we let each other know. So Jack texted all of us that there was a huge sale at McFarlane on Superman stuff.
Crap,
Wow.
he got a whole
Wow.
So I bought some stuff.
Come on.
So I have a lot of Batman 66 stuff. So they did a Superman in the style of Batman 66, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
So he's gonna go up there, fit somewhere inside my diorama. So that's cool. I got the Man of Steel, STEAL. Earth 23 Superman. Whose only kryptonite is a hard day's worth of work.
It's terrible.
And then I got, which is the box is trash. I'm seeing that. Thanks, McFarlane. This is Batman Beyond, and damn, this box is trashed.
Wow.
Batman Beyond versus Justice Lord Superman.
It's a good
I
thing you're
like
not trying
that.
to collect it.
Yeah, good thing I opened everything, but shoot.
I like that one.
Yeah, I like it. It was like $15, and everyone knows I love Venom and Batman Beyond. So, yeah, that's what I got.
Nice pickup. You know, it's funny you show that because the reason McFarlane had that sale was it was Superman's birthday. I, for the longest time, knew that it was June 11th, 1938, but apparently it's June 12th, 1938 is when Superman dropped. So I've had that wrong my entire life. So
Wow.
on June 12th, McFarlane had this big Superman celebration day sale, and I also got something in the mail.
What'd you get?
I picked up this pretty good looking statue.
That's
Oh
dope.
yeah.
Of course, his face is not that great, man. He's got like these dark circles under his eyes. It's almost like Batman-esque. Like the guy ain't slept in a in a month.
What's up with
Just
that?
look at that, man. It's freaking McFarlane drives me crazy. It's like him and Superman's mugs is. It's just he
His face
struggles.
subs are either on point or just so off the mark.
I know, and but this one's like close, but not quite there. There's some quality control things I don't like about this sculpture, but on the shelf and in the distance, this thing is great.
Well, the action in the cape is fire. That's what really
Action in the
Yeah,
cape
that's
is
pretty
fire. Of course, no S on the back, and
Uh,
it's a toy. You got no excuse. You got no excuse. Also, you guys watched that Superman versus Hulk thing I sent you?
Yes.
yeah.
This fan film put the S on the back, and it looks
And it's
spectacular.
the guy that did it in CGI. One guy, right? Or he had a couple guys, but it's a fan film.
Yeah.
Though. It's not a.
Yeah, but with like no budget kind of CGI, and it looked spectacular. And the fight was thrilling. Anyone who wants a good Superman fight, go check out that Hulk versus Superman fan film. There's a couple out there. Some of them are not so good, so go until you find the one that is.
Etc. just jumped in and said he almost bought that same statue as local comic book store for $50.
Dude, I got it. Well, I think I paid closer to $15 for it. You know, I mean, that sale was the McFarlane store sale was almost 75% off in some cases.
Yeah. Etc. I don't want to disparage our local comic book stores because we have to support them because if we don't support them, they're going to go away. Because the one over here that I had, Carpe Diem, just closed down, which was my local comic book store. But caveat asterisk, here's my issue. Sometimes what your local comic book store will do is they'll go to Target, they'll go to Walmart, they'll buy these toys and action figures, buy them off the shelves, and just double the price. And I know that because I've caught the owner of the comic book store in Walmart doing that same exact thing. So
Yeah, because they're hard to get.
yeah, so sometimes definitely patronize your local store, but be wary when you buy figures and be smart when you buy figures.
Well, that's also why, I recommend anyone who's gunning for some of these Mayfex figures or these figures that are made in Japan, try to get them from the country they're sourced from, and you're not going to be paying quite as much because that's what happens when they get here. They get doubled in price.
Yeah.
Which I understand. You want if the person who's selling it wants to make a price, then they're paying whatever you paid plus shipping, so they're gonna add another 50, 60, 70, in some cases $100 to it. But I think it's time for some news.
Job breaking news.
Time for news. All right, well, the first news is a bit of a bummer. We lost the legendary Donald Sutherland this week,
Yes.
so can't get into the news without kind of addressing that. Donald Sutherland was a Canadian actor, and I didn't know that he was Canadian of origin. With an over 6-decade-long career, he passed on Thursday, June 20th, at the age of 88. A lot of people know Donald Sutherland as President Snow from the Hunger Games, but his first role was actually in 1962, and then his career was set ablaze when he landed the role of Hawkeye Pierce in the film MASH in 1970, which later went on to be the TV show. So that's a bummer, like I said.
Yeah, rest in
Not
peace.
great.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm sending positive energy out to his
Kiefer.
family, Keither and his sisters and all those guys. Ralph Macchio teased, did a little video tease saying this is gonna be the last season of Cobra Kai coming out.
They're still doing that?
But this is the last one, Rich.
People who are into it are into it, Rich.
Really?
Yeah. And apparently they've been working on a new Karate Kid film, and he said this stuff is epic.
Is he going to be Mr. Miyagi? He's going to take like a little
That's kind of the vibe I kind of got from it. Now, you also got to keep in mind, the Karate Kid franchise is 40 years old.
Yeah. What are you trying to say?
The franchise needs his back hurts. That's what he's trying to say.
Trying to say anything. All right, let's go to the trailer park trash. We're only going to trailer park. We're only going to talk about one trailer for a second. You guys see the Penguin trailer?
Yes.
The Penguin trailer. Yo, let's talk about this stuff. I mean, where's Lawrence? But we do have our resident Batman guy in the house. Look, Chris, tell me your thoughts on this trailer.
Look, I've said this multiple times. Even though Batman is not in this content, the world is best when Batman is in the organized crime, when the world is fighting organized crime. And when you focus on that, it makes sense to have a vigilante like Batman and I'm with this content. And this is my favorite kind of like angle for this content. So I am all about this. I love it. Give it to me, baby.
I mean, the texture of Gotham just looks spectacular. The budget looks like HBO spared no expense. And yes, there is a new trailer. Ghostymon, we'll get in some of these chats here in a second. Yeah, there's a new trailer of the Penguin. I think it's the second trailer they have.
Because they released a trailer a couple months ago.
Yeah, this one came out a few days ago, and they're showing a lot. It's like Sopranos meets a lot more action, and it's like Sopranos meets Batman.
Yeah, you can see it's going to be a stylized Sopranos, where Sopranos was like a realistic take. This is going to be. It's going to get to the point. You're going to have none of the stuff where you're talking to Dr. Melfi. You're just going to have action, explosions, and just taking people down. And come on.
Yeah, it looks like it's not going to commit the biggest sin for Chris.
That's it. Be boring.
Don't look like it's going to be boring. Okay, social media has taken to the streets with a smear campaign against the new Dungeons and Dragons cover art that's being featured. They've accused the artist of using AI to create it. Now,
really?
Yes, except for there was actually no evidence to substantiate their claims, and they put the artist in a really compromised position where she ended up being put in such a weird position. She put the last 2 months of her artwork out there for the public to see. Clearly, she painted all this stuff by hand. And the art looks pretty, I think it looks pretty good. The artist's name is Katrina Layden,
What's the
and
scandal though, Jack?
I guess that it's just yeah. You like, what's the difference if they used AI to create it in the first place?
Right, right. Because if she did that, say she's an artist and she used AI to create the bass and she modified it, or even use her ideas to input into Dolly to create it, what's the scandal?
I guess the
Yeah.
problem is when you're an artist and you spend your life dedicated to the pursuit of your craft, and then within 3 seconds you got the whole internet kind of denouncing your journey, and three brushstrokes of the thing is pretty damn obnoxious,
No,
especially when none of it's true.
no, I understand why she'd be upset, but just say if it was true, I'm
Why
still
would
failing to see what's the scandal.
Right? What's the difference? I don't know,
Yeah,
but I guess the problem is, no, I agree with that. Like, it's because on one level the thing is either good or it's not.
right.
It
Right?
looks pretty good. If I'm looking at the right thing, it looks pretty good.
It's the girl walking down the street with like a cat at her feet.
Oh no, I'm looking at other stuff.
What are you looking at, Rich?
He's probably looking at something. He's probably looking at some AI made.
No, they're fighting. There's like the warriors, and then there's like a dragon in the background. It's the player's handbook. They're saying it's the new artwork. So
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, it's the handbook they're talking about.
yeah,
Um, so so apparently it's not a one-off though, and that's the other thing. A lot of people are making accusations like that on artists for using AI right now, and apparently right now a lot of it's
listen,
just
y'all better get used to it. This is the future, all right.
It is the future.
And you know what's
I
crazy? I was looking at AI stuff, and people were talking about how robots will take over jobs, and they were like, "Oh, you blue collar workers better watch out." But actually, you white collar workers better watch out because AI is taking over your jobs.
they can do
at
calculations.
least
So,
probably first.
yep.
Yeah,
I used
ET,
AI twice this week for to make logos for businesses I was working on.
right?
yeah.
Yo, we should use AI for our logo. ETC says
Definitely
in
showed y'all
relation.
some.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. In relation to Donald Sutherland, he'll always be remembered for MASH, the professor from Animal House. Oh yeah, and the movie JFK. Yeah, Donald Sutherland, man, he's good in everything.
Yeah.
He's good in everything, and was in working on movies even last year. I mean, the guy was 88 and still in it to win it.
Yeah,
Yep.
still pushing.
We have a comment from Desiree. Can you put that up? I'll put it up
Put it up.
because I enjoyed it last time. I mean, no Superman for ETC. I'll have to show it off.
Show it off.
Please. So we're talking about art. If you guys don't know, if you're new, Desiree's an artist and her medium is Lego. Give me all that content because I'm all about it. I'm loving
Yeah.
All right, if you get it, flash it up.
it.
Geek Fusion in the house. What's up, Geek
What
Fusion
up, Geek
TV?
Fusion?
Now, if you're looking for good toy reviews and stuff, check out Geek Fusion TV because he's legit. He's got a great lineup of stuff to check out on his channel. He's on YouTube. Geek Fusion TV says AI was supposed to take the heavy lifting so we could be more artistic. Instead, it's doing the art. So, yeah. So we wash the dishes.
I still have to wash my dear.
Uh,
Yeah.
Geek Fusion, everyone's just one step away from making it big, and then everyone's you work all your life, finally make it, and everyone will call you an overnight success. So keep grinding at whatever you're doing, you'll get it.
Right. Everyone's overnight success is always 40 years in the making.
Exactly.
Some comic book news. You guys might like this. Biker Mice from Mars is making a return in comic book form.
Yes, I saw that. They've been teasing this for a while, and I guess it's finally coming out.
Yeah, yeah. It's fast approaching if it's not out already. DC Comics is set to drop a whole new universe. The universe is called the Absolute Universe. They say it's not going to be a reboot of the current universe, but rather a separate line that may or may not cross over, probably will.
Okay.
So
It's just going to be a plot armor buffer for them to do
well,
whatever.
Marvel they're doing their Ultimate line right now, so I assume it's DC's version of that, but every 10 to 20 years they reboot the universe anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
It's good for sales.
It was bound to happen. Here's some video game news. All right. Marvel vs. Capcom has recently announced that they're going to be dropping a fighting collection of all the games and it will feature all the arcade versions of the games that have been released globally. However, for any of you out there who are really looking forward to playing the controversial character No Mar No Norimaro, I may be saying that wrong.
Sure.
Say too bad because he's been expunged from all versions that are going to be put on this anthology set. Apparently, he was too racially stereotyped to put forth.
Wait, I'm
So if
sorry.
you don't know
Say that again. What game was this?
Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh.
So in Marvel vs. Capcom, there is a figure based off of a Japanese comedian. Now, the Japanese comedian himself said he didn't think the character was that funny. But this thing was so stereotyped that it never made he never made into the US versions of the games. But if you were in Japan, you could play as this character. And he's got giant buck teeth, big glasses, and his weapon is he's trying to get a signature from the other characters you're fighting or a photo with them or something. That's his kind of backstory.
Oh shoot!
And he's drawn. I mean, everything about the way he's drawn is about as offensively stereotypical as you can get. But they were set to release him, and then Marvel kind of stepped in and said, "No, that's not no, that's not gonna happen."
Oh wow! Look at this guy.
Yes. So they're still making the set where you can play all the games, but that character will not be in them. ETC says he can't wait for AI to be perfected.
Well, just watch Terminator 2, ETC. There you go.
Well, there's that. He also says that way we can get Sean Connery back into the James Bond roles. Yo, ETC, there's an idea. You know what happened, though? A lot of actors have signed contracts that stipulate they're not allowed to be digitally put back into content after their death. Robin Williams was famous as one of the first guys to have a death clause in his stuff. Because remember when we were kids, we saw commercials with like
the dice dancing with the vacuums. Like, well, what's his face?
They put like James Dean was in it,
Fred
or like
Astaire was dancing. Yeah,
all that stuff. And so even as far as back then, celebrities started becoming aware there would be a reality where they'd be back from the dead. And so a lot of them started putting in the contracts, hey man, when I'm gone, let me rest.
I wouldn't sign that clause. I'll leave that clause and make sure it goes to my heirs.
Well, that's interesting, but it's also a way to preserve your legacy on some level. Consider Tom Cruise could be selling, diapers.
Blue Chews.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, you want to preserve your legacy if you have
I'm
one.
selling diapers, Jack.
When I have a mission that's impossible, I pop a Blue Chew 30 minutes before.
If you're dead, who cares? What difference does it make? If you put food on the table for your great grandkids and your great 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 grandkids, who gives a shit?
Well, that's called generational wealth, there, Chris.
That's it. And the diaper content I find highly offensive, Jack.
Well,
what diapers do you sell?
But that's fair because
I have my own line.
Wait, what? No way.
Time out. I'm telling you for real.
Yeah.
For real.
Chris markets and sells everything but this podcast. Geek Fusion wants to know when we're going to get another milestone. When's the milestone universe coming back from DC? Right? I want to know that too. We need some hardware and Icon back. I actually kind of agree with that. And I'll tell you what's sad. You can pick up the original comic for under $10. You can find online both of those for under $10. You can find a lot of stuff from the 90s for under $10. So, Geek Fusion also says, better yet, yeah. How about some milestone action figures? I agree. With that too. And Chris is showing off here. Let's give you the big screen.
Face
For
shield.
all you in search of diapers, here you go.
Adult
Face
diapers.
shield
This
sounds
is-
like it protects your online presence. Like what's
This is
happening right now?
this is my brand, my logo, my diapers. I have a warehouse
wearing them
full.
now.
I have 100,000 of these.
Wow. Okay. Listen.
Yeah. I told you guys about the diapers a while ago.
We probably listen. You tell us a lot of things and we forget because you keep forgetting. You're like Tommy from Martin for us, right? We know you do something. We just don't know what it is you do.
Chris not only sells super dependables, he is super dependable. Oh, Viv in the house. What's up, Viv?
Made the whole family try to.
Viv acts like I asked her to try them on. I walked in and she had them on.
And the Phil Marshall opened the house. What up, Phil Marshall? What did I walk into? Well, you walked into diaper time.
The crazy life that is Three Brothers Shadow Milk. That's what it is.
Here's some toy news. NECA is making an Earl Sinclair figure from the hit
Dinosaurs
90s series Dinosaurs TV show.
Saw that.
It's a 7-inch feature. It's a 7-inch figure, and it's Earl in his We Say So work attire. He comes, and he's got a whole slew of accessories he comes with. He's got a few head swaps.
The hard hat.
He's got the hard hat. He's got the lunchbox. He's got articulated tail. The guy's fully articulated, and the toy looks great. I might actually have to pick it up. In other toy news, pre-orders have begun for the new Star Wars droid Eka figure from Episode 1. It's a giant droid that rolls.
Oh, those are cool.
Okay.
Yeah, the figure marks the 25th anniversary of Episode 1 dropping. Episode 1 was 25 years ago. And it boasts a hefty price of $265.
No, thank you.
Good.
You say no thank you?
No, thank you. I'm good.
It looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. And if you want, if you're looking for like some really good Star Wars content, you could check out Brent Aja Grogu's YouTube channel. He goes deep into Star Wars. Hiya Toys is set to drop another Universal Soldiers toy. They're gonna drop the Andrew Scott figure in 6-inch form.
Okay.
You guys excited for that, Andrew Scott?
Yeah.
You're excited for Andrew Scott 6 inches?
Right. Andrew Scott 6 inches is Dolph Lundgren's figure in the Universal Soldiers movie. Guess a year ago or something, they got the Jean-Claude Van Damme and he was feeling lonely. Yeah. Lego, all right, you'll like this one. Lego is dropping their Thunder Tank.
Oh. Thundercats?
That's right.
Yeah.
Lego's Thunder Tank. And it comes with not just Lino, it comes with a whole team of cats. You got Lino, Chitara, Panthro, Tigra, Wily Cat, and they all come.
Wily Kit? You can't have Wily Cat without Wily Kit.
You're right, Wily Kit. I stand corrected. And they all come with their respective weapons. It's actually a pretty good lineup.
That's cool.
And my last bit of news is, hey y'all, San Diego Comic-Con is fast approaching. It's in July. It'll be Thursday, July 25th through Sunday, July 28th. And that was the news.
Nice,
wait, I got a little bit of news. It's rumor, so it's not confirmed. But Deadpool is claiming that rumored that Wesley Snipes may show up as Blade. As y'all seen, there's photos out there of Sticky Fingers versions of Blade in the background of one of the scenes.
F-I-G-H-A.
Yeah. So people are speculating that quite maybe, possibly, Wesley Snipes might show up.
That only was around for one season, right? That Blade series.
I didn't even know it was ever around. Like I just heard about this thing, and I'm like, what? But yeah, so as we all know, he was in Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes were together in Blade 3, Blade Trinity, and they didn't clash, or they clashed. I say they didn't get along too well. They had different personalities. Wesley Snipes was like serious all the time. Ryan Reynolds was always joking around. They were kind of butting heads. So we'll see what happens. I think it'll be a good move. Wesley
Ryan Reynolds was trying to ice skate uphill. That's why.
Yes, he was. He was.
That's what it is. You know, I'll say this though about that Deadpool movie. If that Deadpool movie if it doesn't end up having the best frivolous and non-frivolous cameos in any superhero action film or adjacent, what are they doing?
Yeah.
They
Because
should. Gratuitous cameos. They should do it.
That's right, and they don't need to mean anything. It's the content that can get away with it. It's not the Doctor
Right.
Strange where if you're showing a cameo, it's got to count for something. Arguably, you jerks. In this case, it doesn't. Let's see.
I got
check.
one more piece of news.
All right,
What
let's
you
hear
got?
the last piece.
If you're here in the Midwest, which I know some of you, I know one of you guys, I think it was Brent who was down the street from me. There's a Collecticon going on here in Dallas, July 6th to the 7th. Look, we're in the Midwest. We don't have Comic-Con. We don't have San Diego Comic-Con. But sometimes you get some of these smaller shows and you can find some really, really, really cool finds. So I'm going to be attending that and see what I can get. I'll probably just buy G.I. Joe stuff for Sebastian, but you know how it goes.
ETC also said, "There's my pillow, and now there's Chris with my diapers."
The difference between my pillow guy and me is number one,
right. Sorry,
I'm not a weirdo, and number two,
and you're not going to be smoking crack.
No, and everyone is welcome to use my diapers. Everyone,
Wow.
I don't care. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. If you poop, you can wear my diapers.
All right, and S is right. Hilarious. Geek Fusion says Hasbro's dropping one of those droids in a two pack for $50. Which droids?
The droid you're talking about?
No way.
Droid.
It's not this one. This one's the Hot Toys. That thing's super.
Oh,
expensive.
Hot Toys, man, come on.
Yeah, that's the Hot Toys version I was talking about. But there are definitely going to be some other droids. Diapers, no good without wipes. Well, Chris, there you go. You got your first product review.
Yep.
Oops, I meant without wet wipes.
They may become Safe Shield wipes, may be coming down the horizon. So keep your eye out open.
Wesley Snipes is in talks for Secret Wars, but it's not done deal yet. Well, that would be pretty dope too. Are we still getting the Mahershala Snipes? Is that
no? They lost the character. They lost the character that I saw here. I didn't bother reading it though. But yeah, Mia Goth, original role revealed. Yeah, she called out. She left. She was like, "Nah, we out." It's taking long. It's taking too long, and there's too many changes. I wouldn't blame them, man. There's a lot of uncertainty with this.
Oh.
Yeah, well, you kind of hope that he had one of those pair play contracts.
Mm.
You're gonna eat up someone's clock and book them out on schedules where they're passing up other work. You know. Well, on that note, I think it's time for debate.
Let's go.
A debate? Sure.
A debate.
I was looking.
All right. Here's today's debate. Because later in the show, we're going to be talking about SpaceBalls. The debate is, if you had to give an iconic film franchise or movie the classic Mel Brooks treatment, SpaceBalls inspired, what film would you rebrand? How would you adapt it? And most importantly, what would you call this movie of yours?
I know what I'd do.
Well, don't leave us in suspense.
I would call. I'm going to tell you the name of it, and let me see if you can guess what franchise I'm parodying. It's going to be called Dimness.
Okay.
Bright.
Close. Twilight. So it would be a parody to go.
Twilight? I was about to say The Shining.
Twilight already a parody?
Well, yeah, so it's gonna just be a parody of Twilight, and nothing is going to happen. Just like in the last Twilight movie, where they had this big, huge fight, and it was all just an illusion, and nothing happened. Nothing happened the entire movie. And that's gonna be the thing. We're gonna have all these huge story arcs, and then nothing's gonna happen throughout the entire movie. And
wait, is that what happened with Twilight?
Yes,
I didn't watch it all.
So Viv is a Twilight fan. She dragged me to the last Twilight movie. I'm talking like I'm talking like hardcore Twilight fans, like opening night Twilight. Like people had Twilight blankets, Twilight gear, Twilight it up.
Wow. Okay.
So spoiler alert: they have this big battle where the goth vampires are fighting the regular vampires.
I've seen that battle. Yeah, I've seen clips of that battle.
So
Yeah,
they have the battle, and then people are crying because people are dying. People are getting their heads chopped off. Like main characters are dying,
Whoa,
and then
spoiler.
at the end of the fight, you see the leader of the goth vampires. He opens his eyes, and everyone's back. And it was what's her face's daughter saying like, "This is what would happen if we fought." And they're like, "Oh no, then we can't fight," and everyone walks away. I
what
shit you not.
is
That is what happens. And I remember sitting in the theater. I'm like, nothing happened, and the franchise ends, and that's it.
what is that track? I would be so upset. If
Yeah.
I was a hardcore Twilight fan, I'd be like, "What?" I would ride it. I'd be like, "What is this?"
It's worth watching the last 10 minutes because they have this. The battle's actually kind of cool. They have this cool battle, and then nothing happens. It's all fake, and nothing happens. So
Man,
That's how I felt about watching Homelander obliterate the crowd and the boys, and then he was like just kind of daydreaming. So like, make it count or don't make it count.
but that's one scene in one
yeah, that's what.
episode.
Yeah,
We're
this
talking
is
about
like,
a
oh,
franchise finale, Jack. The finale of the
Yeah,
franchise.
yeah,
That's like
yeah.
when
I
Infinity
got it.
War.
It's like you watch all the Lord of the Rings, and then Frodo wakes up.
And then Frodo was like, "Oh no, it was just a dream."
that was a wild dream. Let me write that in my journal.
Yeah.
Dream diary.
Yeah.
Entry.
Crazy ring gets me in trouble. Yeah.
Stay away from Gandalf.
Exactly. So mine would be dimness because there's so much stuff we can make fun of in that franchise, and I would have all these crazy story arcs, mad story arcs in one movie, and they would all lead to nothing. So.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I don't think that. Well, I guess I don't have much to say. I didn't. I never really got into the content. It was around that time where I wasn't consuming that kind of content in my life, so I never picked it back up. So I guess I don't have much to say about it. I've never actually watched them. Is what I'm confessing. I've never seen them.
I watched. Yeah, I mean, no, I'm surprised. I watched some of it, and I'm surprised that it was all a dream or a vision, pretty much. Like, but I would be upset. I'm upset now. I'm like, I'm not even into it. I'm upset that was all of that for nothing. That's wild.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine.
I think you could really easily do this parody with like Indiana Jones, but the one I would do, I would probably have to title it "Really, Really Tough Mission, but Probably Possible."
Pretty funny.
That was good.
Because none of them end up being impossible. They're all really, really tough, but probably possible. So that would be the name of the film, and it would just play out kind of like the movies play out.
Yeah.
Except for it would need some kind of twist. I can't quite. It's like the stakes have to be a little higher, but the reason needs to be way dumbed down.
Yeah.
Not like Mr. Bean dumbed down, but kind of like that.
All right. All right.
What you got,
I got illegals. It'll be a playoff for aliens.
Yeah. Oh
So,
man.
it's just the aliens trying to take over and like cross over and over borders. And then a version of Ripley has to stop them, but they're sneaking in through the people's chest and everything, and they're hopping out and then doing day labor work. I mean,
they're coming over just to put in a hard day's work just to provide for their family.
we just want a better life.
Wow.
That's pretty funny. Oh man.
Yeah, that's pretty inappropriate. Ghosimon wants to know how we know each other.
I don't know if you want to know that answer, but I'll go. Me and Lawrence are best friends since like pretty much birth. Lawrence is Chris's cousin.
Yeah.
Yep.
He went to school with Jack.
That's right.
I know Chris because I know Lawrence.
Right.
I know Jack because I know Lawrence.
Yep.
Right.
I,
And so the
yeah, Lawrence
irony of
went to college, and that's how we all got together.
the connecting thread not being here today.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, Lawrence.
Oh, Lawrence.
he's a busy man.
Yeah. So that answers that. ETC says, don't ask a question you don't want to know the answer to, but if you must know,
Listen, we don't talk about that hole, okay?
no, yeah, we don't talk about the truck situation. Just kidding. He says, just kidding. ETC is our biggest fan. The Mummy. You would do a parody of The Mummy, but don't change the title. What? You haven't seen Twilight? I know I haven't seen it. Laugh out loud says S. The last movie and the book was so
I'm not
anticlimactic.
lying, MIS.
Wow.
Uh,
Pop Johnson knows about the truck stop. All right.
wow, all right.
Godfather would be a pretty good parody for Mel Brooks. You know, actually, I agree with that. Godfather would be a pretty good parody for Mel Brooks. But see, I think classic Mel Brooks. Did anyone see the History of the World Part 2?
I haven't seen it.
No.
It wasn't really laugh out loud. Good timing on that. Pop Johnson laugh out loud. And Viv in the chat for the second time tonight, ladies and gentlemen. She loved Twilight. Yeah, we know you drug Chris to it, so we hear. Chris said he wanted to be Edward.
You'll always be my Bella baby.
Okay, what are you guys doing in the bedroom is your problem. We don't want to know about that, all right?
Woof. All right. Well, I think I won that debate.
I don't know. Mission really. What was it?
Illegals.
Illegal.
It was pretty good.
Nah,
they're all good.
Good debate, actually.
All right. Well, let's get to the main topic, man. Let's see. We're gonna wrap this show up in like 10 minutes. We're gonna be out of here. We're gonna get all our Sundays back.
Which one we hitting first? We hitting boys first? We hitting SpaceBalls?
Let's talk about the boys first. So we're talking about the boys. The boys. Their last season they're on right now. Second to last season. It's the second to last season, right?
Second to last.
Final season.
Second to last season, episode 4. Yo, I gotta tell you, I really liked this episode. I was kind of medium on the first 3 episodes, but this episode landed for me.
It's like Dumb and Dumber. You go back and you totally redeem yourself.
Yeah.
So here we go for spoilers on the boys. Let's just talk about it in no particular order. I'll tell you what I really liked. I liked the payoff of what's her face, the smart lady.
Sister Sage.
Sister Sage.
Right. Sister Sage. So at the end of episode 3, I saw that bloody syringe thing sitting by the Bloomin' Onion, and I was like, what's the bloody syringe about? Did she do something to the thing? Is she doing something to the thing? And then before I'd actually seen the episode, someone had kind of spoiled it for me, but in a really good way. And so the fact that she basically gives herself a lobotomy and scrapes her brains to dumb herself down.
The Simpsons did it. Homer the Crayon. That was the whole purpose of that Simpsons episode.
I'm not saying it ain't been done before, but sometimes, I mean, I could understand wanting to do that.
Yeah, imagine being so smart that everyone around you is just dumb, and then you kind of feel like, what is the point? I mean, yes, okay.
I know what that's like. I'm about 3 brothers and a shot of milk. I know what that's like.
okay. All right.
Real nice.
I'm playing. I love you guys.
But yeah, imagine being so dumb or so smart that you have to dumb yourself down just to get some relief. You know?
Yeah.
Right. The highlight of the show for me was definitely Homelander in this, and we see him.
How is he so much more menacing with the Fudgy the Whale Cake?
Yo, and it's probably because of the Fudgy the Whale Cake. So Homelander in this, so in episode 3, Sister Sage says to him, "You should probably go back home, reconnect with your past," and that's exactly what Homelander does in this episode. He goes back to the facility lab where he was tested on. And it's like, six stories down in this secret elevator shaft thing. He gets down there, and surprisingly, all these dudes are pretty much still working there from when he was a kid.
Oh,
Like,
that makes sense.
It's a job that you
don't
retire from. Like, it's a secret
Yeah.
laboratory. Like, you
You
don't just
don't
get a
really get
new
out
job
and
after that. Yeah. Like,
I
Yeah.
guess, but there was no one in there but the doctors, and it seemed like the doctor's point of being there originally was to test a subject, but there was no one there,
We don't know
right?
yet.
And the only thing it wasn't like there was photos of new kids on their wall. There were photos of Homelander as a kid. So, like, what have they been doing in there for the last 20 years? What have they been doing in there for the last 20
collecting
years?
a paycheck and waiting to retire.
Yeah,
I
that's
guess.
it.
But that's kind of not the point. What is the point is Homelander goes down there with a cake, and he's kind of purging some demons out of his closet. He makes one guy go into an oven
Yep.
because he was put in an oven. And the way he kind of talks about that moment, he goes, it didn't burn the flesh off my skin, but it hurt like
Hurt.
hell.
I cried and my tears would evaporate.
Yeah, exactly. So he makes that doctor go in the oven, and his skin does kind of obliterate off of his body. It's disturbing. If you haven't watched The Boys, spoiler alert, this stuff is disturbing. And the second doctor, the guy who kind of looks like Hans Zimmer, that doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
This doctor caught Homelander beaten off as a boy.
And they called him Squirt.
They called him Squirt, and he laughed at him. And Homelander says, "You really hurt me that day." And he says it in a way where you're like, "Yo, man, you were really hurt that day."
Yeah.
Like, you can feel his pain. The actor is just crushing the scene. And so he tells the doctor, "You can beat off for all of us, and we're going to laugh at you.
Well, we're going to laser your junk off.
Laser your junk off." And so the guy starts a really, attempt. He's a pretty strong attempt. And Homelander is really he's enjoying it. It's disgusting. He's enjoying it. This scene is hard to watch. And the doctor can't do it. It's too much pressure. And Homelander goes, "Hey, man, it's okay. That happens to everybody." Blammo!
Well, he doesn't have to everybody, but not me.
See, if they had a Tom Cruise promoting Blue Chews, he would have been able to get it up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
See what I did there? Went back to the last thing we're talking about.
Maybe how do you think you're anti-death clause?
And then the lady doctor comes in. She kind of actually takes control. You can see she's got a little more push, a little more clout, a little more assertiveness than everyone else over Homelander. But then she kind of plays all her cards out. Now, this one scene is shown in like 4 or 5 different segments.
Right.
And it's intercut between the rest of the series.
It's pretty much the B plot of the show. Of this episode.
It's kind of the A plot for me, though. And so he takes her to the bad room, and eventually, and he goes, "I really want to show you why I call this the bad room." And then he basically tears everybody apart and smears them across the walls and locks her in the room and leaves. It's pretty messed up.
I mean, you don't see they go in. They actually have a conversation. They go in there. They actually talk, and then he walks out. I forgot exactly what they say, and then you cut to the rest of the stuff, and then we come back where she's still in the bad room, locked in there.
Yep.
And then it just pans around, and you see everyone smeared.
Yep. The conversation they have is she tells Homelander, "You could have left at any point. We never had the ability to keep you trapped."
Yeah, your need for love is what kept you here, and is that human need.
Yes.
That's right. She says, "The only success we ever had with you was bringing in the world's greatest children's psychologist to make you need approval. And that's what you need." And he says, "I don't need it anymore." And she goes, "You have no idea how deep it runs in you, this need." And then he locks her in the bad room. The rest of the plot is you got Kimiko dealing with her
The Shining Light. The Shining Light. Yeah, that's her. That's that group that kidnapped her and like raised her and like made her like just kind of stole her
Well,
childhood.
so is this her sister or just someone in the
I
cage
think
who's
I think
talking
it's
to her?
her sister as in sister through in that group, but she
Yeah.
tells him, remember when you grabbed me and then you like initiated me? So
Yeah.
they're not really related, but she brought her into the Shining Light.
So you got that storyline playing out. Hopefully, it's played out at this point.
Yeah.
Then you got Frankie's storyline kind of plays out here too, where
Yep.
he finally tells the guy who
Tells Colin.
he tells Colin who's he's having relations with that, hey, I'm the one who murdered your parents.
Frenchie.
Frenchie.
Frenchie. Sorry, Frenchie. Yeah. So that arc is hopefully pseudo resolved. You got Huey.
Which is but it was honestly it was an arc we don't need. I'm like, we don't need to see what's Frenchie's demons. Let's get on to
Well,
this them busting out.
We've seen
Yeah,
Frenchie's.
Yeah.
like he
Right.
he dealt with drugs, and that was no good arc there, dealing with addiction and stuff like that, and getting over his demons through that, because he met up with the what was she, Russian, I think.
Lil Nina.
You're right,
I don't know.
right.
I don't know if they actually named her in the show, but it's Lil Nina who has a big role in the comics, and actually in the credits she's credited as Little Nina, who's the mob boss.
We already had an arc with him. Like, why do we need another one with him going through something? Let's just get on with the rest of this.
Right. Then we have Starlight's arc kind of comes to a climax with the Firecracker Lady, and the Firecracker Lady puts all her business on blast on a public forum until Starlight can't take it anymore, and then she beats her up on a public forum, and that's pretty bad.
And that's exactly what Sister Sage wanted.
That's exactly what Sister Sage, the puppeteer, wanted. Then we have Huey's story arc actually kind of plays out on a bigger level, because he finally makes peace with A-Train. And you know what? It actually felt nice that they had that moment. He basically says to A-Train, listen, my dad's dying. Get me some Compound V. A-Train says, you don't want to do this. He says, you do it, and we're good. And A-Train wants some sort of closure in his life and forgiveness for being kind of a douche the entire time and obliterating his girlfriend way back in the day. And, that moment set this whole content in motion. So he steals the Compound V, gives it to Huey, and they shake hands and kind of make peace for the first time in however many episodes.
Yeah.
Huey plans to give this compound to his dad. He doesn't, but his mom ends up giving a version of it to his dad anyway.
Yep.
And so his dad comes back from his deathbed with a jerk of energy, and
it's because they were about to pull his feeding tube, because technically because they were like technically he's considered brain dead.
Right.
And if he's going to live on his own, we just cut the feeding tube, and they gave him like 3 days,
something like that.
Yeah.
And then the other arc that kind of plays, it's not played out, but it's playing up, is we have Butcher's arc. Now, Butcher is dying. He's got like 6 months to live.
So we think he has a spot on his brain, but then we have a scene with him in the shower, and we see it was like a worm crawling out from underneath him.
Some kind of parasite.
We got that on, I believe, episode 2, where he was at the desk and you saw the worm in his temple.
Right.
Yeah. So
just
that,
I didn't read that as the worm. I just thought that was like a enlarged blood vessel because he had like a brain cancer. But now we see like this thing is traveling around his body.
Yeah. Right. And it looks like it got bigger too, because it was on his back at one point, and it was huge.
Now, the other thing we learn in this episode is that in addition to the little day super soldier pills they were taking that gave him powers, he took it like 3 or 4 times. It gave Huey temporary powers. He is also taking Compound V. And he was hoping that the Compound V would cure the terminal illness he got from taking too much of the kind of one-off thing. He said it didn't. But what we see in this episode is he's basically getting strangled by Plastic Man or Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, Ezekiel, the youth pastor.
Creepy youth pastor.
Youth pastor. And then he blacks out, and the next thing you know, the youth pastor is blasted all over the walls. So, does Butcher actually just have powers at this point?
It
Probably.
has to be some. It's like I haven't read this far into the story, into the comic books. I bet you it's like a Venom like symbiote or something like that.
Yeah, I was about to say it's like some type of parasite that's in him right now, and it's helping him out, and that's probably what's talking to him, giving him the visions of his ex-wife or his dead wife, excuse me. Because every time he's like he fell down, the ex-wife is there to be like, oh, get up, you got to get up. And then when Ezekiel was choking him out, he's like, you can't end like this. You got to get up, fight back. And then I think the symbiote's helping him out. Yeah,
maybe that'd be kind of cool.
So that was. Any other thoughts on the boys?
That was it. This was actually the best episode of the season so far. So
I thought so too, man. It's right back to what I really liked about the boys. So I'm hoping they go in this vein. And there wasn't anything gratuitous for the sake of gratuitous sake, which was also kind of nice about the episode. It was just a solid episode, I thought.
Yeah.
Desiree, this one's for Rich. Ha ha ha. She loved the aliens.
Yeah.
Ghosty Mom wants another Princess Bride. I want another straight up Princess Bride, maybe, but probably not a parody of Princess Bride. It's already a comedy.
Yeah.
Geek Fusion said Wizard of Oz. Sorcerer Oz. I lost it. Gets into a tornado. What do you say?
No, Aziz Ansari gets caught up. He's funny.
He is funny. Gets into a tornado, ends up where his BMW actually kills the Haggard.
The Haggard, yeah, like.
Oh yeah, of Norse, and he gets a magic watch.
A magic watch.
What? So instead of the ruby slippers, you get a watch. He drives. Actually, might be pretty good. Geek Fusion. I'm not gonna lie, that might be pretty good.
Has to take the blue ball.
Geek Fusion wrote a full synopsis.
Oh man!
The super sends him on the way back home. On the way, he meets Plastic Woman. That's nice. A Japanese sex doll with no brain. Dipping an elf on the shelf who has no heart because Santa Claus made him away. The panda who has no courage because he's the last of his kind.
And he feeds you Chinese food.
Right.
Panda Express,
And along the way, they have to fight against the Haggard of the South and Flying Pigs. Geek Fusion always comes right to these debates, which is why we need to really find a time to get Lawrence in the house to have that debate about the Superman movie so we can put you in your place.
Oh.
Just
challenge. Oh.
Listen, that movie is full of problems.
That got menacing.
We'll talk about it. I was kidding. Geek Fusion, thank you for that. That was great. 3 brothers should do the Twilight parody. Lawrence as narrator, Chris as Edward, Rich as Jacob, and Jack as Thanks.
Oh, Bella.
Sorry, Jack. Yes, no, that was good. I love Mel Brooks, Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, rolling in. Hey, Blazing Saddles is hysterical. Young Frankenstein, one of the.
Where are all the white women at?
I gotta tell you, wait. So I was in. Chris, you saw Fuerza Bruta, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So almost every night before the show, they'd have like the DJ rave party at the show. In the mosh pit, and the guy who was DJing it would always toss that in. Where are all the white women at? Where are all the white women at? So anytime I hear that, I think of this. I think of Fuerza. Hysterical though. The episode started a little woke.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of. I think it's supposed to be kind of on the nose because they're really, really, really mocking like QAnon stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the left, the far left, far right is really getting played up this season. Woke or open to superpowers?
Open to superpowers.
Episode 4 seemed a little woke. Alice in Wonderland, off with their heads. And Mel Brooks doing a parody of Silence of the Lambs. Wait, I'll tell you this. There was an off-Broadway version of Silence of the Lambs I think it was called Silence, and pretty hysterical. Pretty hysterical.
I remember that was like mid 2010s, right? That was not the.
That was, I think, about
Yeah, I
mid.
remember seeing it when I was working in Howard Square. I didn't see the movie; I just saw the ads for it.
All right, so that was the boys. Now let's get to the other reason why we're here. We're gonna do a little deep dive into Spaceballs.
Balls.
Balls. The movie. This movie came out in 1987. It was a Mel Brooks uh, film. Here we go. Let's get my note cards. I'm gonna mix them up so they're appropriate. That's the title card. The reason we're talking about Spaceballs is because Spaceballs 2 was just announced this, I think it was this week. Josh Gab's going to be at the helm of it with Mel Brooks, and it's going to be an Amazon production. So we'll talk about the movie, and I'll give you some fun facts along the way. So here's your spoiler. We'll go spoiler free, even though this thing is decades old. Spaceballs is basically a parody of Star Wars,
Yeah.
Right.
without Luke Skywalker.
It's
There's
all,
no Luke.
it's all Han Solo.
It's
All Han
well,
Solo.
Hans is Luke. Hans is both Hans and Luke.
That's true.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's both. They were like,
He has
we
the
can kind
Schwartz.
of get away with this. So basically, here's the movie in a nutshell. Princess Leia type is getting married. She doesn't like who she's being married off to. She escapes. The Spaceballs are kind of a faction of, they're like the Empire, right? The Spaceballs are
Yep.
like the
Yeah.
Empire. And so the Empire, they're running out of oxygen, so they're going to steal all the oxygen from planet Druidia. And the princess is the druid princess, right? So she
She
runs
didn't
off.
look Druidish.
She doesn't look druid, and yeah, hysterical. So she runs off with her robot counterpart, and the Spaceballs intercept them, and so the king, the druid king, hits up Lone Star, who's basically our Han Solo character, who's running around with Barf, his dog, man
Barf.
dog friend, and he goes. Well, before that, Barf and Lone Star with 2 R's is hit up by Pizza the Hut, who goes, "Listen, man, you owe me money," and they're like, "How are we gonna get you $100,000 space bucks?" And
Space bucks.
he goes, "Nah, it's not 100,000 anymore. It's gone up. Interest. It's gone up to 1 million." Like, I was supposed to get 1 million by tomorrow. He goes, "I don't care. Figure it out." And so Pizza the Hut's basically hanging out with some version of Max Hedron. And so at that
Oh
point,
shoot, that's right.
right? And so then so then the king hits up Lone Star and goes, "Hey, my daughter has been taken captive. Can you save her?" And he says, "We'll do it for 1 million space bucks." And so they go get the princess. All kinds of antics ensue. They comb the desert. They meet basically their golden version of Yoda called Yogurt, who is strong in the Schwartz.
Yeah.
And he imparts some advice to Lone Star. The princess is then stolen by Rick Moranis' character, who's hysterical. He plays what's the name of his character? Darth Helmet?
Large helmet, yeah, something like that.
Dark helmet.
Dark Helmet. The Dark Helmet. He's in a giant phallic-shaped helmet. I mean, ridiculously bulbous. And so he steals the princess back. They end up getting the code to the gate to steal all the oxygen. I remember this as a kid going, "Wait, the code is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5." And that's subsequently also Mel Brooks's. He plays the president. That's his luggage combination: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so he says, "We got to change the luggage." Long story short, Lone Star rescues the princess again. They end up saving her. They explode the giant ship. Oh, which is hysterical how the movie starts with this epically long giant ship.
Yes, it just keeps going and going and going and going.
Just ridiculously long. The ship turns into a giant Hoover vacuum maid, sucking all the air out. They reverse the suck. She goes from suck to blow. putting all the hair back, and then they blow the ship up, and Lone Star ends up being a prince because he's got a medallion that no one can read except for Yogurt can read it. He tells him, "Hey, man, you're actually a prince." So he goes, marries the princess, and the people who blew up in the ship end up landing on a planet run by apes, and they look at them and they go, "Who are that?" Coming out of the nose of the Statue of Liberty looking head. And they go, "It's Spaceballs," and like, there goes the planet. This movie is funny, and you know what's funny is in the movie they talk about a sequel because he goes, "Do you think we'll ever meet again, Yogurt?" And he goes, "Only if we get a sequel. Spaceballs is the search for more money." So it only took 30 years. All right, so let's talk about the film a little bit, and I'll throw out some kind of fun facts about it. Here's the first fun fact. Tom Cruise and Tom Hanks were actually up for the role of Lone Star.
Tom Hanks would have done a great job.
Tom Hanks would have done a great job. Also, that was right around the time he was still doing movies like Dragnet and Money Pit.
Big,
and all that.
right? When did Big come out? Big was like 85?
Yeah, mid 80s. Yeah, so that would have been fun. Tom Cruise. What was Tom Cruise doing? Had he done Top Gun at that point?
When was Risky Business?
Earlier 80s. Yeah, I think so. Barf, played by John Candy, the late great John Candy, was originally designed to wear a full bulldog face mask, and Mel Brooks hated the idea. He said, "If I didn't want to see John Candy's face, I would have got an actor who was half his price."
Yeah.
It makes sense.
So what do you think the sequel is going to look like?
I don't know, man. Like, really, they could pick up anywhere. I mean, there's so much stuff. I know they're gonna. It's probably gonna be making fun of the. They probably gotta be mocking the Disneyfication of everything, and I don't know. There's a lot of content's come out since this has come out.
And then there's a lot of stuff you can't really talk about because people will try to cancel you. So,
well, that's the thing about Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks was always kind of on the edge of things back in the day. I mean,
yeah, Mel Brooks was. This is the Mel Brooks though. Is Mel Brooks part of this Spaceballs too?
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Who knows?
He's part of it. I mean, there wasn't that much racially charged stuff in Spaceballs. The combing the desert with the two black guys combing the desert
with the Afro pick
was maybe kind of borderline, and there was a lot of Jewish jokes.
Who was that? That was actually Tim Russ.
Was it?
Yeah, that was Tim Russ from Deep Space Nine. Right?
No
Deep Space
kidding.
Nine? Deep Space Nine, yeah.
I feel like even though they made fun of like they made fun a little bit of everyone in this, but it wasn't mean. So you can make fun of people and poke fun at the fact that people are different and stuff like that,
Voyager.
but not be malicious about it. And this movie toes that line really well. That's why you could watch it, and I feel like it's aged well because even the jokes with the Afro pick stuff, it's funny. I don't care how you can't get too sensitive. It's funny. So
it's playing on. Obviously, it's playing on stuff, but it doesn't feel malicious, right? That's it doesn't feel like gratuitously malicious. I mean, this movie was funny. I wasn't sure whether I thought it was going to hold up watching it again, but it actually holds up as well as the Star Wars movies for me. It's funny.
You know what? I didn't realize how many memories I had of this movie until I watched the movie. Everything was coming back to me. Like the scene where the alien pops out of the guy's stomach. I forgot about that, but the second I saw it, I was like, "Oh shoot, I remember this." And it's like
the fun thing about that is actually the same actor who in Alien who has the alien pop out of his stomach.
Cool.
That's dope.
So I mean, I watched this. I didn't realize how much I watched this movie as a kid. I watched this movie a lot because it was always on TV.
Yeah,
it was always on TV.
Oh yeah.
So I watched it you catch it from wherever it comes on. And
Do you know the Millennium Falcon is actually parked in that
Yes, when
parking
he
lot?
lands at that part, when he lands at that bar right before that scene with the alien, you see it there.
Yeah. So funny fact about this movie is Mel Brooks actually went to George Lucas and got permission personally from him to do this parody film. And
Good move.
Lucas said, "Yes, you can parody all things Star Wars on one condition." And the one condition ended up being a huge element that got added to the film. It's just I didn't know this at the time. He said you can do it, but you can't sell any merchandise off of it.
Oh,
That's why there is no Spaceballs merchandise. They could not
interesting.
merchandise the film, which
But
Mel
there's
Brooks.
that scene with yogurt though.
That's why it's in the movie, because Mel Brooks took that stipulation and put half the film is just a film within the film and the merchandising of the film. And there's literally Spaceballs toilet paper that the president's wiping his butt with.
You know what's
Yeah.
funny? It's funny George Lucas would say that because he made most of his money from licensing deals from Star Wars.
That's right.
He made
Which
all
is
his money
also
at the
why the
back
movie.
end.
That's why Spaceballs talks about it. He goes, a movie really makes all its film off of the merchandising. So that's probably why we never got a sequel, right?
That's
But at that time, do you think there would be a place for Spaceballs toys?
Even if there wasn't at that time, there would have somewhere in the last 30 years. You consider
Right.
they're Princess Bride toys.
Right. Now there would be. Now there would
Now,
be.
yeah.
But in the 80s,
Absolutely.
I don't think there would have been a market for Spaceballs toys.
Maybe, maybe not, but collectors would have got them. They,
Definitely.
of course, they would have played off of it. They would have made little, 3-inch figures, and people would have picked them up because they were hysterical.
Yeah.
Which is also why there's that scene where Rick Moranis is playing with the toys, and
Okay.
the person walks in and says, "You're needed on the deck," and he's like, "Ah," and he goes, "Don't worry, sir, I didn't see you playing with your toys again." And he's like, Apparently, what had happened is because the merchandising became such a big element in the thing, Brooks had saw the toys and said, "Man, Rick, it'd be hysterical if you're playing with these toys." And so that whole scene was actually just shot improv on the fly because they had the toys sitting around in the background for merchandising.
That's funny.
EGC said correct. Mel Brooks also told him he couldn't copy Han Solo, so he made Lone Star look like Indiana Jones.
Oh shoot!
All right.
That's right. Yes. Okay, so then here's another fun one. Brooks told people that Michael Winslow ended up saving them $1,000 or more because they
Because
just
you know the noises.
use all his sound effects from the scene.
Yes, that dude is great.
Awesome.
He is so good.
That's a freaking. That's some casting jujitsu right there, man.
Yeah.
Because Michael Winslow was hot off. He was hot off Police Academy, right? Because Police Academy 1 was 83.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's
Yeah, so
something
he was
like
hot off Police Academy. So everyone wants to see Michael Winslow be like, "Broop, broop," make his noises. That's genius right there, boy.
Mhm.
Yeah. As
What's
in,
another
going
fun
back to another comment, ETC. I lost the bleeps. I lost
Exactly.
the bleeps, and the creeps. Yo, great.
This movie has so many good like lines in it too, little fun moments, and like even when they're watching when they get the idea of putting on the tape of Spaceballs to find out how it's going to play out.
Yeah.
Where are we? This is the now. The
It's
now
so
now.
meta. It's meta before meta was a thing.
Last little fun fact I'll give is this film was originally titled Planet Moon, and Mel Brooks, it was kind of a working title that he hated. He knew he wanted space somewhere in the title. And as the story goes, it wasn't until he spilled a drink on his lap and screamed balls, causing people to laugh in the room, that he had finally solidified SpaceBalls as the title.
All right. That's a way.
And well, that's as the story goes. So, I mean, I don't see much point in going through the whole film blow for blow, but This movie is fun. If you haven't seen Spaceballs, I find it hard to believe that probably the majority of the people watching the thread haven't. But maybe in the next week or so, when other people watch this, if you haven't seen Spaceballs, it's funny. It's a classic. It's probably definitely worth the watch.
Oh,
Oh
definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
especially if you're our age, like 25. It's something that you it's something you definitely want to go back to. I'm telling you, watching it. So I tried to watch it the night before, the 2 nights ago. I fell asleep because I was exhausted. And I watched it last night, and I was going through it. I'm like, I just remember so much of like those rose-colored glasses. They were definitely on watching this thing because it brought me back to being a kid. I loved it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's kind of the experience I had watching it again too. It was like these jokes are still funny. It's like the film is really clever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know how these new age kids are. These these actual 25-year-olds are really going to take it, but man, this thing hits, and I enjoyed it back then, watching it many times, and I enjoyed it again watching it maybe a few hours ago.
So let's talk about Tesla real quick because I see ETC made a comment saying they've gone plaid. So ludicrous mode and the Tesla plaid, that's Elon Musk took it directly from Spaceballs. That's
Oh,
why the Tesla has ludicrous mode because it's from Spaceballs.
so
Nice.
Mel Brooks should be getting some money then. Is what we're
I
saying.
mean, man, I hope so.
Man,
All right, let's catch up on some of these comments. We've missed a bunch. Look, hey, look who's in the house. Corey in the house. Buttercups, baby, come on. I guess he's talking about Princess Bride.
Yeah.
The new Wolverine game looks interesting. Yeah, the new Wolverine game looks pretty great, doesn't it? It's
I'm hearing because of a certain faction that's been involved in it. Sweet Baby Inc. is it might be a flop, but we'll see what happens. I'll
Okay.
give the benefit of the doubt.
the
Anything that
NES.
big Sweet Baby Inc.'s put their hand into, they just absolutely ruin it. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, it looks like God of War kind of game style, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, the game style and everything, that could be one thing, but like the storyline and everything like that, again, if you look up Sweet Baby Inc. and everything that they've been touching, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get too deep into it because it's a lot.
All right. Indiana Jones game also does look great.
I'd be down for a good Indiana Jones game.
Have you not seen the trailer for this one?
No, I haven't.
I've seen a little bit, yeah.
Oh, Chris, check it out. Yeah, ETC's right. The Indiana Jones, I don't know that it's actually really shown gameplay as much.
It looks. I think they said it was gameplay, but it looked kind of cinematic-ish.
Well, that was we're trending towards incredible graphics even in the gameplay. I mean, incredible graphics and just about everything. ETC said in relation to the symbiote thing, the compound V made a tumor
Sentient. Oh,
sentient and it's acting like a parasite in his body.
yeah, that's how I read it too.
Okay.
ETC, I'm sorry, Geek Fusion. Geek Fusion said that. And Geek Fusion also said, yeah, now this is one of the best lines in the movie. I'm your father's nephew's cousin's former roommate. So what does that make us? Absolutely nothing. I probably quoted that line more than anything from Star Wars. There's so many just hysterical moments in Spaceballs. Oh yes. Geek Fusion TV, haha. Suck. Yeah, that movie's just so many fun moments. Love Spaceballs, says Desiree. How many a-holes are on this ship? I'm surrounded by a-holes. You know what's funny is I remember that Spaceballs was one of those movies that was always on TV, right? And so there was actually a redubbed version of it where they said morons. I'm surrounded by morons.
Yeah.
Oh shoot!
So I never even knew that this was really. I didn't even know this was the line until I had probably the DVD of the film. And I'm
It's busy
watching
watching it on UPN 9.
it. So I'm watching it going, oh, it actually took me a minute to get used to the actual version of the film because I was so accustomed to morons. If we've learned anything from Spaceballs, don't order the special.
Yep,
Well,
Yeah.
that's
do not. We talked about that. I'll have the soup.
I'll have this check, please.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise should never done Spaceballs. That would have changed his religion.
Challenge his religion.
Challenging
Challenged his
religion.
religion.
Yeah, Tom Cruise was hot off of Top Gun and The Color of Money that came out in '86.
Well, Tom Cruise was doing dramas, actions, and dramas. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
Tom Cruise almost never done comedy or parody. You know?
Yeah, because after that, he did Cocktail, Young Guns, and Rain Man in '88.
Right, and I mean Rayman.
Yeah.
Sequel should stick to Mel Brooks style, make fun of everyone.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
needs to make fun of the sequel trilogy on any levels that any level of woke influence in the movie make the fans upset. Yeah, I agree. It's got to stick to kind of what it's, and that's why the nature of the debate is classic Mel Brooks. You know, it's got to go classic Mel Brooks, or it's just not going to fit into its own world.
Yeah.
You know, and what's funny about Spaceballs is really the meta of the movie and the movie that keeps coming back to, and it's got to be a huge element coming into the sequel. And my question is, where do you go with half of the cast either gone or aged out on some level at this point? Are you dealing with a sequel
Yeah.
or
You know what they're
reboot?
gonna pick up? They should do a thing like, Kylo Ren was the daughter of Han Solo, Princess Leia.
Yeah,
Josh Gad is gonna be the son of Lone Star, trying to figure out, like, solve some mission that seems really hard, but it's possible. Whatever
Right.
Jack said, I think they're gonna go that way.
Right, because your other option is a prequel, which 90% of Star Wars contents are prequels.
Yeah.
yeah. They could run prequel. Yeah, they could definitely go the prequel route.
Which actually might feel, that you do. You know what's funny? Spaceballs is episode 11, chapter 11, right? They say that in the opening
Yeah.
credits,
Yeah,
right before they say, if you can read this, you
This,
probably don't need
the
glasses.
glasses. Yeah.
So if they go the Star Wars route, Star Wars started with what, episode 4,
Yes.
yeah.
right?
Yeah. A
So
New Hope.
they could jump to episode 1 or 7 or whatever that is in the Spaceballs canon, right?
They can do
No,
whatever they
yeah,
want. Baseball.
they really can. Yeah, but they need to keep it in that vein of Mel Brooks, though. That's the thing. That's going to be the key.
The Spaceballs flamethrower.
That's one of the coolest scenes. Everyone loves that scene.
And we talked about this a few weeks ago. There is a flamethrower dog that you can buy that is designed off of the Terminator thing.
Elon Musk made one you could buy too from the Boring Company.
The robot? Wait, you could buy a flamethrower dog?
Yeah, do you not know about this?
Yeah, you can.
There's a flamethrower robot dog that you can buy, and it shoots flames. Yeah,
What, the general public can just walk
Yes,
around with a
Yes,
flamethrower dog?
yes. There's no laws against flamethrowers, Rich.
you can buy it. Chris can definitely buy it. He's in Texas.
Yeah, you can get anything in Texas.
Anyone in Alaska probably not going to have a problem buying it.
They tried to do robot dogs in New York City, if I'm not mistaken, like a couple years back, and it did not go well. The things are expensive. Why would you even try that?
Well, it's not. I'm not saying it's cheap, but it does shoot. It spits fire. This is a fire spitting robot dog. ETC says Rich is spot on with everything. Sweet baby ain't touch it. What? Oh, I see. Yes,
you.
you're right.
Listen.
Suicide Squad was not.
Listen, they
No,
don't
I
keep their ears to the street like I do, all right? Sweet
That's
Baby Inc.
true.
is destroying things.
Yeah, that's too bad. We'll read a few more comments. We'll wrap this thing up. I think we're probably pretty wrapped up here. Tom Cruise, Corey Pearson in the house, says all Cruise makes for comedies. Oh, Corey is back in the house, set to be contrary. Great. Let's see. He probably says he's also the best comedian of his time. Right? He's like,
Yeah, you can get a flamethrower for like $300 on eBay.
well, you
I'm
could
not
also just make
surprised.
one. Bill Pullman, who is still alive, needs to come back and play the old man who teaches the new Schwartz users like Luke did for Ray. I saw this fan made film, a little fan scene. I'm sorry. I saw a fan scene of how that scene at the end where Ray kind of destroys Palpatine, right? And he had a ghost version of the heck's his name? I just lost his name. Who's Darth Vader? His actual name.
Oh,
Anakin.
and okay.
It's the ghost of Anakin comes back in that scene, and he uses the Ghost Force because he's the chosen one, right? So he masters the Ghost Force presence, and he's the one who comes back and blows him away. And the way they actually made that scene was pretty spectacular. And you're sitting here going, this actually would have been better fan service for people who have stuck with the entire series. But yeah, I think if you're doing Spaceballs 2, you got to put Bill Pullman in it if he's up for it.
It was Bill Paxton who died, right? The guy from Twister.
Yeah, Bill
Yeah.
Paxton passed. That would be fun as long as he doesn't drink milk from any of the alien sea cows. Elon Musk actually made a flamethrower inspired by Spaceballs.
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
From the Boring Company. Yep.
And Geek Fusion says, and Kylo Ren's character is Barf's son, who went bad and is known as Loki Nar.
Loki Nar.
Loki
Oh,
Nar.
Loki Nar. Loki Nar.
Yeah, man, I think there's a lot of ways to take a sequel. I tell you, the sequel that I'm most excited for that's taken as long as a Spaceballs sequel is the Beetlejuice movie, and the fact that it looks like they're picking it up right where we've been saying they should pick it up leaves me optimistic.
And it's a good thing the dad died because he was a child molester, but
Oh, okay.
What?
Yeah,
Wow.
the Beetlejuice, the dad in Beetlejuice, he was the same as he was the principal from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The reason why he's dead because he went to jail for kiddie porn. He's a child molester.
I missed that.
You didn't know? Yeah, that's why if you watch the trailer, they open up with his death.
Okay, yeah.
That's why they open with it?
Yes. He's convicted. I'll tell you exactly what the charges he was convicted with. What's his name? Jeffrey Wright? No, not Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Jones?
Yes, Jeffrey Jones.
Really? That was the guy from Howard the Duck.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
He was in Beetlejuice, Howard the Duck. He was the principal from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Man.
Yeah. So
Makes me
he got
pretty...
following investigation of Paul Rubens, Jones was arrested in 2002 for possession of child pornography and soliciting a 14-year-old boy to produce sexually explicit images between September 2000 2001. And he's listed as an offender as of 2021. He's listed as he's in the database.
Wow.
Well, that's don't ever meet your heroes.
Don't ever take weird pictures for your heroes. I'll tell you that.
Man.
So it's actually pretty depressing on some level, just how
of course
how ugly the underbelly of this the entertainment industry is sometimes.
I don't think he's a symptom of the entertainment industry. I just think he's a predator that penetrated the entertainment industry.
Hey man, easy on that word.
Oh.
No, but what's I'll tell you what's unfortunate about it though, and not to get too deep into it, is it's not a one-off event is the problem with it. And what we see time and time again is people in power abusing their power and preying on the less, ETC said, did you guys know, that's Geek Fusion I clicked on, Jeffrey Jones shared a cell with The father of Seventh Heaven. Really? I didn't know that.
Yes,
I
I know they shared a sub. I know Father Seventh Heaven got busted too.
Star Trek: The
For the
Motion
same
Picture.
thing?
Both got busted.
Yeah,
And
Jeez.
that's what I'm talking about, man.
Holy.
It's like it's depressing when you see all this stuff, and it's um, like Kevin Spacey. You know, I know Kevin Spacey was found innocent, but I know people who have worked with Kevin Spacey, and they've said things about what it was like on set and offset around him. You know, and it's like he may have been found innocent. Doesn't mean the allegations weren't
when
true.
there's smoke, there's fire, man.
That's kind of what's going on. ETC said, "Did you guys hear that Elder Scrolls 6 got pushed back until 2026? We haven't had a new Elder Scrolls since 2011. Is that true?
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, I don't know the reason for that, but I would imagine with technology changing and everything like that, they might need
Well,
bigger. I don't know.
is there an Elder Scrolls Online though?
Yeah, this Elder Scrolls Online, but I
So
wouldn't-
sometimes that's why we don't get a sequel. Is they just keep pumping out new content for the online stuff for a decade and a half.
Because it's so much easier.
true.
It's so profitable.
It
Right.
is. Yeah, same thing. I mean, look at GTA. I mean,
Yep, exactly.
they still
Exactly.
pumping out content for GTA.
ETC, if you haven't played Dragon Age, get into that. And there is a new Dragon Age coming out this year. Don't forget Pee Wee. Yeah, don't forget Pee Wee. Tragic.
Nah, but Pee Wee wasn't. Was Pee Wee?
Yeah, Pee Wee was just
He was just a perv.
just letting you hang out. You know.
He was hanging out in adult areas doing stuff like that. He wasn't messing with them kiddos. All right?
Yeah. I can forgive Pee Wee.
You know, listen.
Pee Wee
I'm
only
not
abused.
trying to yuck
No.
your yum. All right, let you go on. He was over there with grown folks. Let him go over there with grown folks. All right.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, I think that's our talk on Spaceballs. Chris, you got some recommendations for us?
No, I don't.
Wonderful.
So I have something a little bit different. I have a game called Politician or Firecracker.
Politician or
I'm
firecracker?
gonna hit you with some quotes. You tell me if Firecracker from The Boys said it or or a politician said it. Israel has some of the best unmanned defense systems in the world. I previously voted to fund space lasers for Israel's defense. America needs to take our national security seriously and deserve the same type of defense for our border that Israel proudly uses.
That sounds
Politician.
like a politician.
Actual
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Okay.
Yep.
Are we getting
Yeah.
political here? I'm pretty sure that's
No, this is just ridiculous things.
Okay. So it's
No,
content.
politicians be saying some wild
It's
stuff.
Well,
content adjacent.
So the reason I'll tell you, I'm gonna give you a couple more, and then I'll tell you why I have this. Zionist supremacists are secretly masterminding Muslim immigration to Europe in a scheme to outbreed white people.
That sounds real too. That sounds 100% real.
That's real.
Definitely heard this before.
And I have one last one. Hold on. Antifa is back. Only this time they support Hamas and prepared to declare jihad.
It also sounds real.
It's real. So I bring these quotes because it was one of the boys' creators was saying that Firecracker is based on Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she's Marjorie Taylor Greene is a congresswoman. So look, I don't care where you stand politically. You can stand however you want.
Does she say those? Does she?
These are actual quotes from her Twitter, Jack. I took screenshots of her Twiter, so it's not like.
Are they using those lines in the show?
But the thing that Firecracker was saying about the QAnon conspiracy stuff is basically stylized versions of quotes that this woman actually said. This woman is so ridiculous. It's almost comical to watch. Now look, vote for whoever you want. You're still welcome in this show. But if you're ridiculous, we're gonna call you out as being ridiculous. And this woman is ridiculous. And they actually based Firecracker on Marjorie Taylor Greene. So it's an interesting thing. So those quotes are crazy, but
you didn't give us any Firecracker quotes.
No, These are way worse than
Yeah.
firecracker. Way worse than the firecracker quotes.
Oh man.
Nice. Well, we'll take it. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is our show. As you can see, like, comment, subscribe. That's been on the bottom of the page the entire show.
Yep.
Okay.
I have not been
Uh,
controlling that.
we
You should
should.
pull up some. Yeah, AOC is
Yeah, she
wild
said
too.
some ridiculous stuff too,
Man.
etc.
Yo, they all be saying wild stuff in
They
Congress.
do.
Now.
There's
Holy.
no rein in.
All sides.
They just say whatever they want, however they want, whenever they want. Left, right, middle, up, down. It doesn't matter.
They be having petty arguments in the middle of meetings. Like, it's
The
wild.
girl, she had to fight about her eyelashes. It's
Her
just crazy.
eyelashes. It's great, man. It's. I mean, you could just watch that. You don't even have to watch reality TV. You could watch just Congress meetings.
Oh
and
man,
it's fantastic.
it's crazy. But like I said, I don't care what side you're on, as long as you're on the Three Brothers and Shot of Milk side, you're all welcome here.
Yes.
There you go. Well, thanks for sticking around, guys. Connie Alaska, great show. ETC, always fun to have you here. And we'll be back. Same.
Bat time.
Same
Can
bad channel.
I be honest? I feel like that's such a Lawrence thing.
No, it's not a Lawrence thing. It's a Sebastian thing. Hey, Sebastian,
There we go.
come say bye.
There we go. Saved by the Bash.
He's excited because he wants to go to Walmart now and go shoot some.
I want to go to Walmart now. What are you shopping for?
Yeah.
Orbeez,
Wait,
son.
Oh, okay.
Not diapers. I'll tell you that. I got 100.
We
I got 100,000 of them joints.
we got a lifetime supply.
Yeah. Let's sign this out.
Peace. If you don't subscribe again, shop by Orby.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
What time? Tell what time and what channel?
Same back time, same back channel.
There we go.
Peace.
Just like that.